In this video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to tiny task the witch portals. Now, I know I'm a little bit late to the witch portals, but there's still a lot of people out there, including myself, who do not have the 4 shards just yet. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to tiny task these portals, and I'm going to make it very, very beginner friendly. Not like super to the point where you create a new account, play for a couple of hours, and can do it. You will need at least some evolved mythics, but you will not need uniques, you will not need any of that. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers before September, but that is only a few months away. 83% of you that watch my videos aren't subscribed, so it would mean a lot to me if you could help me reach my goal by subscribing. Enjoy the video. Now, I do want to quickly say something about the witch portals. You will be wanting to do tier 5s to 7 in your tiny task. The reason is because tier 5s will only take about 5 to 7 minutes depending on where we place on the map. Whereas the highest tier will take, I don't even know, I haven't done them, probably around 12 to 15 minutes. But those higher tiers give the exact same rates as a time traveler shard as these lower tiers. So we're going to be grinding the lower tiers instead. So I would recommend to get a decent stockpile of tier 5s to 7s. The reason why you need a stockpile is because for the tiny task, you should have at least 1 row, I'd say. At least 1 row will be safe, because now that there is the replay portal feature, what we're going to do at the end of the tiny task is hit that button and then choose our earliest portal in our inventory. So, what you're going to want to do, there's some prior steps before you can actually do the tiny tasking. Get at least 1 row of witch portals. I obviously have more. If you have more, that's awesome. Once you have them, make sure you go through each and every one of them. Check if there's something you can do. Keep in mind what units you have. I cannot complete a tier 7 tank enemies. So, if you guys don't have uniques, and you're just running with evolved mythics, I would not recommend keeping tier 6 tank enemies. On top of that, delete every single short range and high cost, no matter the tier. They all need to go. So yeah, some of these, like a tier 6 tank enemies, I wouldn't recommend. Tier 7 regen will be easy. Tier 7 shield will be easy. Another tier 7 regen. Tier 5 shield. All those will work exactly as planned. But there are some that you guys will need to delete. Tier 7 fast enemies, I'm going to keep that. I do believe I have a tier 8 fast... Ooh, tier 9 fast enemies. Okay, that's not one I want to do. So I'm just going to simply delete it. I'm going to keep going through, and there's one more. Yep, right here. Tier 7 high cost. Any tier of high cost, always delete it. Try to have 5 to 7s in your inventories. That's the tier you want. That's the gold tier. If you are struggling with tier 7s, maybe only do tier 5s and 6. If you're struggling with tier 6, only do tier 5s. Just know that that will limit the amount of portals you can actually do in your tiny task. I want to stress this a heavy amount. I am going to be using this team right here. The uniques are not necessary. I repeat, uniques are not necessary. I could do this with my Divine Stain. I know it's still a good trait, but honestly, I don't have that many evolved. Okay, here we go. No, I don't think this guy's evolved. Like I said, I really don't have that many evolved mythics with mid traits. Here we go, Endeavor. I could do this with this Endeavor. All he's got is sub 2. I could do it with, I have a Gojo evolved, I believe, who is, yep, only sup 1. His time stop is still going to act as Dios and be very helpful. So, just make a team that works around the units you have. I would recommend bringing a slow, though. Perona, Emilia, I believe this unit slows as well. So, bring a slow, bring a farm, of course, Bulma, bring Bulma. You definitely are going to need an air unit. I would recommend Meta Knight or Fuji. If those aren't your options, if you have Hange or something like that, that's alright too. But just know, Meta Knight and Fuji are my recommendations. Now, the reason why I have Shigaraki here is because I actually need more takedowns on this unit. So, I'm bringing it in my tiny task just to get it down for takedowns. So, obviously, if you guys don't have uniques and you need more damage, just replace this 6th slot. If you're copying my team right now, let's say you bring Law, which I would recommend. His Shambles ability is going to be extremely helpful. Dio, yeah, no, that's not realistic. I would recommend here maybe like a Gojo, and then Emilia, Bulma, Meta Knight, Fuji for airs, and then this last slot, you guys could bring another damage unit if you want. Or you could bring a buff. Now, I don't know how hard it is to set up a buff in a tiny task, but you can try it. You could bring Escanor if you have him. Definitely would recommend. I do have a unique one, so I won't be doing that. But yeah, you guys can bring whatever you want. Keep that in mind. I cannot stress this enough. Uniques are not necessary. If you are struggling with tier 7s or tier 6s, just do tier 5s. Tier 5s are so easy. Evolved mythics can almost one-shot tier 5s. It is going to be no problem at all. Tank enemies is a little bit difficult. So like I said, tank enemies may be one you want to delete. But always, always delete short range and high cost. Those are going to be ones you cannot do. I'm going to quickly explain how the tiny task goes down so you guys understand it, and then I will actually show me doing it. So in the lobby, you don't need to worry about anything. Just make sure you have tiny task downloaded and opened. So here we go. Here's my tiny task. All I'm going to do, preferences, set it to continuous playback. I just do that. Also, recording hotkey, mine's on F8, and my playback hotkey is on Control-Shift-Alt-P. That can be whatever you guys want. So when I hit F8, we see the recording starts. So that's just the setup for the actual tiny task. Remember, select the team you want. I just went over that. I'm not going to go over it again. Always make sure you have the portals you want pre-selected. Pre-selected, because the tiny task is going to run off what portals you have. So if you only have 19 portals, then check in, I don't know, check in like 5-6 hours or something. I don't know how long that will take to do 19 portals. Probably not that long, to be honest. So yeah, keep that in mind. It's going to do the portals you have pre-selected. And of course, when you win, you will get more portals. But some of those portals are going to be unknown. It could be high cost, which you will not complete in your tiny task. But if you're going AFK for a long time, let's say you're going to bed, and you're only running 10 portals, obviously know that you complete some portals, you get new portals. There is a chance it's still portals you can do. You could get another tier 5 fast enemies and you'll be fine. If you do get something like high cost, you should also be fine. There are 3 lives per portal, so the tiny task will fail 3 times and then move on to the next portal. So it is nice like that, so just do keep that in mind. And there was one last thing I want to mention before we start. It's a very quick thing. When you load in, there are 2 spawns. I'm gonna give an example here. This is spawn A, and this is spawn B. If you get spawn B, you need to reopen Roblox and re-record the tiny task with me. If you get spawn A, you're all set, and we will start recording. So let's load in items, portals. Start with your first one. Actually, it doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna start with my first one. This is the tier 6 tank enemies for me. Open it up. Just start, and make sure you have your tiny task ready. All right. Remember, my recording hotkey is F8. So when I say I'm hitting F8, I am saying I am starting the recording. I am going to start the recording once we load in and the text at the top fades away. So I look for the text, I look for when it fades away, and then I click F8. Do keep in mind, make sure you are clicked into Roblox. Some people had a lot of issues on my last tiny task video, and I realized it's probably because you guys actually never clicked into the game. When you are recording the tiny task, make sure before you hit F8, or sorry, no. I mean, you can do F8 outside, but I would recommend just make sure you're clicking your mouse button. Because I think when you load in, your mouse, I don't know what happens to it, but I just like to click, and you guys see I'm just moving, right? I'm all good. I'm clicking while I load in. I just do this. It makes me feel a lot safer. I don't know if it's necessary or not, but here we go. Let's see what spawn we got. If we got the north one, we are good to go. And remember, I am hitting my recording hotkey when the text at the top fades away. All right, that's my key. All right, I got it. Do not move your mouse at all. Wait for that to fade away. Recording. Okay, now I'm recording. I'm gonna click a few times just around the place. I already hit F8. You guys saw this because the top faded away. I'm gonna click around till about, I'd say about 25 to 30 seconds is when I'm gonna start doing something. Now keep in mind, guys, we are only allowed to use I and O to zoom in and out. Do not use right mouse button. Do not touch your right mouse button or scroll wheel, or your tiny task will be bugged. Your entire tiny task, so don't do that. Alright, now I'm just gonna hold Shift and W at the same time, and I'm gonna hold it for a good bit, even when I hit this wall. Even when I hit this wall, I'm gonna continue holding it, alright? So all I'm gonna do, Shift W for a good bit, and then around 15 seconds, hold Control Shift W and A at the same time. Sorry, not Control Shift, sorry. Shift W A at the same time. And that's gonna make us hug this wall here. So that's what we're doing. And now I'm gonna walk out. I am gonna make sure I click the yes button. If you do not click it and just wait for the timer to go down, your tiny task could be completely screwed up. Now the hard part's out of the way. That was setting us to the exact same position every single run. Now I'm just going to walk back, zoom out a bit using O. I did one O. And this is where I'm going to place. Alright, so now I'm just going to wait. And once we get first wave income, I am just going to go ahead and I'm going to spam my law down, alright? Spam it in the same place. So all I'm doing right now is one left mouse button in the exact same spot. Alright, this is all I'm doing. Do keep in mind, guys, we're placing back here because if we get fast enemies and we get an angel witch, fast enemies, angel witch, an angel witch will be right back here, right? We got witch enemies first round here. I'm also going to place my Bulma now, by the way. We got, and I'm going to upgrade it a few times here, Do keep in mind, guys, if you don't have uniques, you probably need to upgrade your units more than your Bulma. Alright, you're gonna see me upgrading my Bulma a lot of times where you guys should probably be upgrading your defense. Do keep that in mind throughout the video here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna wait. This is tank enemies, by the way. Now I am gonna upgrade my Law twice. I'm just doing this so he gets circle AoE. There we go. Bam, now he's circle AoE. And I'm just gonna chill here for a bit. So yeah, Angel Witches are extremely fast, and you can get them wave 1. If you get it in a fast enemy's portal, it will be right about here. But when you get waving comes. So you do need to place back here. You have a hill right here. It's where I'm gonna go ahead, plop down my Metal Knight, as you just saw. I'm not gonna change any targeting. You can if you want, right? If you're struggling, I would recommend actually changing your targeting, but I don't need to. So what I'm gonna do, I am now just gonna plop down an Amelia. The reason why I'm doing this, guys, is you need to think about the other challenges, right? I may be recording in a tank enemies right now, but I'm not gonna be in tank enemies every portal. I need to keep in mind that sometimes these enemies will have shields, and a great way to break shields is to have a unit like Amelia or my Shigaraki, which I actually brought for takedowns, to hit the shield off of the enemies before my uniques have to hit it, and then they deal less damage because of that. So I would recommend, like, just thinking ahead. Regen enemies you really don't need to worry about. If you are struggling with it because you don't have uniques, maybe in this 6th slot, bring a bleed unit. That's up to you, whatever you guys think will work with your team. I am now going to place my Dio down. Like I said, I am lucky enough to have a Dio. He is not necessary, alright? If you have a Gojo, feel free to place him down, and then all you do with Gojo, click on him and turn on auto ability. It's that simple. Like, Gojo will be quite helpful, especially for people that don't have uniques, because he's going to be dealing a very, very good amount of damage, or well, he's going to be helping deal in a good bit of damage because he will time stop the enemies. That's going to be extremely helpful. I would recommend putting that on auto. Same with Shambles. I'm actually going to put my Shambles on auto right now. So there we go. My Shambles is now on auto. I would recommend doing those two things. Anyone you brought with an ability, feel free to turn it on auto, and that will help you out a good bit throughout the run. So guys, now all I'm going to do is just place my Amelias, get my farm going, upgrade my units. It's not going to be nothing too special right now, so I'm going to speed it up for a bit. I'm not going to skip, because I do want you guys to see everything I do in real time. So if you're copying me, go ahead for it. If you're copying me and just using Gojo instead of Dio, everything I'm doing will work. Just keep in mind, if you're running someone like Gojo and you don't have a second air, Dio hits airs, then make sure you are upgrading your airs, because these air units are quite strong. I have Dio with me, so I really don't need to worry about them, because he is hybrid. But certainly, upgrade your Metal Knight and stuff. Remember, do not need uniques for this. If you're struggling with this, this is a tank enemies. Tank enemies are definitely harder if you don't have uniques. I would recommend deleting tank enemies if you are struggling with them, and then maybe only focus in tier 5s and 6, and you should be fine. I'm now going to speed it up for a bit so you guys see what I do throughout my run, and then I'll check in with you guys at the end when we actually need to do something again. Actually, a quick note I do want to mention, and this is actually quite important, so please keep this in mind. When it comes to money, please do not spend the money you get from wave income until the timer goes away. I know I'm saying this late, and we're wave 10 already, so I'm sorry if you already did that and it bugs out, but now you know you can restart, re-record, and figure that out. The reason why you want to do that, right here, this wave timer, wait for this to go away. Do not spend your money right now. Wait for that to go away. Alright, now I'm actually going to spend my money. The reason why you want to do that is because it's possible that the timing is a little bit off from when you started your round in a future run, because tinytask bug, alright? They are not perfect, absolutely not. There are many times when they can screw up and just be buggy. If you load slower, let's say you load into a portal 10 seconds later than you normally do. That can screw up the entire tinytask. So you need to keep that in mind when spending money and such. That's why I always wait for that timer to go away instead of spending instantly. Because if I do spend instantly right now, but then we actually don't get the wave skip in another run until right now, then that money's never going to get spent until like a next wave, which could be the difference between losing and winning. So just keep that in mind throughout the run. Also, please do not double place your units. For example, my Dio is down right here. Don't try to like, now, okay, well, what if in my future run he didn't place? Let's try placing him here now. Whoa. What if in my future run he didn't place? Let's try placing him here now. The reason why you don't want to do that is because if you actually didn't place them in a future run, then A, if you're paranoid about that, just do this. What I'm doing right now, I am left click, I'm hitting 2, I'm spamming 2. That's my Dio keybind. And left clicking, spamming, where he is already placed in my current run. So that's if you're so paranoid he's not going to get placed, he will now get placed in the same spot as future runs. The reason why I want to do that is because, let's say you did get him down here, and you click on him here to upgrade him. If you place him up here in a later run because you tried to place him somewhere else, clicking down here is not going to upgrade him. In which case, you're going to lose. You're not going to be upgrading your units. So make sure you're placing them in one's place. Also, I'm not giving out the tinytask file. That's not happening, okay? I hate to break it to you guys, but my tinytask file will absolutely not work with you, okay? Even if you have unique law, unique Dio, golden Bulma, which is another thing you need because of how I'm spending my money, unique Metal Knight, like, it's not gonna work out, okay? I hate to break it to you. You guys are gonna need to do something yourselves. You're gonna need to record the macro yourself and figure out any issues you have. Because they're not issues, they may be issues I have, in which case, feel free to ask in the comments. I will try my best to help you. But it could be some sort of issue with resolution of your monitor. Okay, it could be something else. Internet speed is constantly fluctuating, which means you can never get the tinytask to work. There are multiple things it can be, and a lot of them I cannot help you with. Some of them I can. If you're having common issues, maybe I can help you out. But just know, you cannot use my file. Even if you have the exact same units I have right now. Exact same, including Golden Bulma. You would also need the exact same internet speed as me. Because if you don't have the same internet speed as me, you will load in at different times, in which case, I may be running into the wall over there, the building, while you're still loading in which case your tinytask will not work. These are reasons why you will not get my tinytask file. I guarantee to you, if I give you my file, it would not work. Now we are here now at the boss, so I'm actually just gonna wait. We won't speed it up anymore. So we'll just wait for the boss to come to us. Just know, like I said, if you're struggling with tank enemies, guys, you can always do something else. It's not like you need to do tank enemies. You can just be doing fast enemies, regen, shield enemies. Those three are extremely easy. Fast enemies is not a difficult thing, especially if you have a slow. So like I said, please bring a slow. Amelia is the best. If you got Perona, that's fine. You know, whatever. Just make sure if you do bring Perona, try to get your Perona to circle AoE with some of your money. But yeah, here we go. We're just going to take out the boss here. I'm not even going to use Dio time stop because I really don't need to. But like I said, if you guys have Gojo, we recommend that on auto. So now, we've completed 8 minutes, 45 seconds. This would be a 5-minute run if we placed up front, but it is too complicated to do that. Because if you get fast enemies, they will all go through. If you want to place up front and delete every single fast enemy's portal, you can try it. I would not recommend it. I absolutely would not recommend it. There's just going to be a lot of issues, and that's from my experience actually trying to do it. But now what I'm going to do, guys, is make sure you wait a bit. Do not instantly, well, you can hit next, alright? You just do not move your cursor off the next button if you hit it, because you want to keep in mind where it is, right? So I'm going to keep my cursor here, and right now I am just spamming the left mouse button. The reason why I'm doing this is because in a different portal, let's say we got, okay, well, actually, hold on, let me explain this real quick. If you were doing a fast enemies portal as you're recording your tinytask run, please do not hit pick next portal quickly. Because every other run you won't have fast enemies, it will take a lot longer for the game to complete. So keep that in mind, you're going to need to wait here a lot longer than normal if you did fast enemies. I did tank, so on average, actually this portal is probably one of my longer runs. So I'm just going to hit next for a bit. I think I've done it for a good bit now, probably 30-ish seconds. So now after I'm done hitting next, which I've just been spamming the button, I'm going to slowly go up, pick next portal, try to hit in the centers. I'm just going to hit the center for each. Select your first portal in the inventory, and just hit select. Now we don't do anything else, but wait. There is a low chance the teleporting can fail. And if it does that, then you're going to have to just restart the tinytask, okay? You're going to have to deal with that. Like I said, tinytask is not perfect, alright? So it definitely will not be perfect, but most of the time it will work just as well. So you can just go AFK, do some other stuff, go outside, touch grass, and actually still be playing the game. Now keep in mind, this teleporting time, this is the worst part about portals. That could take anywhere from like 10 seconds to like a minute. So that's why at the beginning of the round we wait so long, if you guys were wondering. So make sure you give it that time at the start of the portal. Do not just load in and instantly start running to the wall. It will not work. Guaranteed. Alright, so now once we load in, guys, I'm clicking still. I always like to click on these loading screens because I'm always worried something will happen. I'm just paranoid like that. So I'm always clicking right now. We're going to click F. Oh, look, we got the bad spawn. Doesn't matter. We're going to click F8 once the text fades away. Bam. Or, sorry, you're recording hard key. Now, I'm going to open tinytask. I'm going to save this because I do not want to actually hit F8 again and have to redo that. There we go. I saved it. Which city portals? And now, we cannot do it this run. Even if you got... Look, this is the bad spawn. Whenever you get this, restart. But if you got even if I got this, right? Even if I got this, I would still be restarting because now the timer's already ticking. And so, I am going to quickly just load back into the lobby and we're going to run the tinytask and I'll show you guys how well it works. Remember that Control-Shift-Alt-P is my playback keybind. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to load in. I'm just going to go items, keep your team. I would recommend not unequipping your team because you may forget what units you brought. So I just like keeping my tinytask teams at the bottom. So I just keep my tinytask team here at the bottom. And then up here, I just mess around with whatever other teams I want to try to run with. So yeah, just do keep that in mind. Please don't unequip the team on accident. So here we go, portals. Just select my recent one. I am going to quickly check though if I got a bad portal I don't want to do. Nope, it looks like I got regen enemies tier 6, which I am fine with. So here we go, open, start. I don't need to do anything right now. I can zoom in and out and just, you know, do whatever. Alright, I'm now loading in. All I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control-Shift-Alt-P as soon as the text fades away. I always do the text fading away. I just find it a lot easier to time. So I would recommend doing the same as me if you guys want to just follow my tutorial. But if you have different timing, feel free to do it. I don't really care. Here we go. I'm going to load in and I'm going to wait for the text to fade away and then hit Control-Shift-Alt-P. Alright, I got the north spawn. Perfect. So I'm looking at the text at the top and bam. Control-Shift-Alt-P. There we go. This is not me right now. Remember, this was me saying to click around. So I'm going to let this play out so you guys see how it works. And yeah, I am going to speed this up. This is going to be the end of the video. After this, it's just going to be over. So if you guys were interested in seeing how it works, then here you go. If not, and you just want a tutorial, then I appreciate you guys watching to the end. And enjoy the little time lapse here so you guys can see how it works. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.